of Pokemon cards. Before we take the torches and really put this safe to the test, let's go ahead and go through, let's unbox it and a few other things that I think could potentially help keep you guys a little bit safer in your day-to-day. All right, but before we get into burning our safe and seeing how safe it actually is from Temu, guys, we also have these. These are some apparently authentic Pokemon cards from Temu, from what's called Cards to Go. These were purchased directly on Temu. They also came wrapped in this nice bubble wrap case with a sticker on it. And right here, let's see if we can get this kind of close. All right, so if we can see right here, it says authentic/real. I need your help. I know nothing about Pokemon cards. I don't know if they're real. I don't know how to tell if they're real, but I'm curious. I wanted to open them up and you guys tell me. Then these will be going inside the safe and we'll see if they survive. So if these are in fact real Pokemon cards and they don't survive and they're worth something, that's on me. So let's go ahead and pop these open. Then we have a few other things to go through over here, including a smart door lock, a doorbell camera, which I find kind of interesting. And then of course we have the Temu safe, as well as some safe filler. We'll get to that here in just a bit. All right, getting into the cards here though. Let's check these out. Now, just looking from the top, something I'm noticing right away, I don't know if the camera's gonna quite pick up on this, but the cards are not all the same color. Very interesting. From the end, just itself. That is a lot of cards. Okay, looks like the different color ones appear to be energy type cards. Now, just giving these a quick look through, guys, I'm not seeing any damage. I mean, I know Pokemon cards are not sold in boxes like this, but it doesn't appear that these have been handled incorrectly. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to pull out a couple that I may or may not recognize. I'll show them close up on the camera. And I want you guys to give me some pointers as to whether or not you think these are actually real. All right, so to get a good look, here's just a couple I picked out. We do appear to have a holographic Butterfree. I'm gonna try to hold it nice and still. Show you guys the back here. I don't know if there's any way to dictate whether or not these are real. I'm sure you guys would know. I'm sure we have some professionals out there. And here are just a couple of other ones. So again, if you guys could, let me know down below if you think these are real or fake. Again, guys, I know nothing about Pokemon cards. I just found it kind of interesting that they sold them on there, and the price, well, I don't know if the price is reasonable, because if they're not real, then any price is unreasonable. So we're gonna set those there. Those are gonna go in the safe here in just a bit. All right, jumping right in next, we have ourselves a 2.4 gigahertz wireless doorbell camera. According to the box, we have ourselves some AI human detection, night vision, two-way talking, easy installation, long battery life, notifications to smartphone, wide angle lens, weather resistance, and cloud storage in-app purchases. I will not be testing the cloud storage. I'm not a huge fan of that, but there's the box right there. We have ourselves a nice quick start guide that's gonna get us our app downloading. We have a two-way sticky tape type material. This is gonna allow us to stick it to the outside door. Then we have ourselves the instruction manual, USB type A to C cable, and some metal screws. Now, all of that aside, here is the actual camera unit itself. Honestly, this feels really solid. Has a release button right up here on the top. This is gonna be your mount that goes onto the wall. And then in the back here, you have a power button as well as your USB Type-C charging port. So let me go ahead and get the app installed and then we will check this thing out and see if it's any good. All right, now, this is a really odd one. As I'm downloading this app here, this app has over 100,000 downloads and it has absolutely 0 reviews. That is a weird one. Never seen that, guys. Never seen that. Sign up is pretty simple, just requires an email address. I didn't even have to verify the email address. So let's go ahead and power this thing on and we'll check out the connectivity. Yeah, overall setup on the doorbell seems pretty easy. Fit and finish leaves.
Device registration successful.
Okay, it's going through its setup. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but this top ring right here is actually pressed in further than the rest of the ring. Now, I was thinking it was part of the design until I realized that I don't think it is. because it's kind of uneven. So fit and finish, not great. All right, let's go ahead and give it a test. All right, we got an alert on our phone. Someone is at the front door, guys. Let's try it again. Okay, once again, we have the alert. Shows right there. Someone is at the door right on top. Let's go ahead and click on it. All right, so it takes it a few seconds to connect. But as you can see, once it gets going, I mean, the quality is not bad at all, guys. Check this out. Although it does seem to have some latency issues. It was going pretty good. And now our screen is currently frozen during the live view. Okay, we have the connection back. Now, I have a pretty good Wi-Fi signal in here, so there shouldn't really be any issues. But it definitely has a bit of an issue with some latency. It's not too far off. Pretty much as live as you need. Testing the audio. Testing the audio. All right, audio comes through just fine. We're getting a little bit of feedback because I'm standing here with the camera. But yeah, just a visual comparison on the colors. I mean, that's really not bad. Let's go ahead and flip her over to full screen. All right. Honestly, I'd say so far this is pretty good. We are going to leave it out for a couple of days for testing and just kind of see how it works. All right, guys, quick interruption from future Gary. So I missed something huge with this doorbell that almost makes it a deal breaker for me, and the reason I probably won't be using it in the future. If you take a look here, you can see that it does show you your previous times people have rung the doorbell when you weren't home, or even if you were and did see it directly. And you cannot watch them without paying for the subscription to the cloud storage. Now that frustrates me a lot, and I basically recommend this as a 1 out of 10 now, which is unfortunate. Camera quality is nice, the build quality is nice, but being forced to purchase the cloud service for that, I don't like that at all, and I do not support that. All right, on to the next product. Coming up next, we have the Urite. We have the Urite Smart Doorknob 3rd Generation. This has an auto lock, fingerprint, app unlock, and visitor lock. Apparently it also comes with 2 mechanical keys and works with Android and iOS. All right, inside we have ourselves a nice user manual, a rather complete hardware kit. This is pretty standard stuff that comes with most doorknobs. Have yourself the striker bar there and some screws and 2 keys. Now, for safety reasons, in case I decide to use this, I am not showing off the actual key itself because they're pretty easy to reverse manufacture, if you will. So it does appear to be made of metal, but check this out. Look at where the keyhole is. It is on the side of the knob. So if you have the key, you lock it and unlock it from the side. That's pretty wild. I've never seen that one before. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll head outside and we'll hook this thing up and see how it works. All right, first close test. Normal door operation. I mean, as a door handle, it feels nice. And if you look close, there's some really nice rubber gaskets here around the edge. I like that. Now we got to set it up to test. All right, so we have the door installed. Obviously, I don't have a deadlock in right now. We'll get to that later. So this door automatically locks. Now I cannot find the setting to stop it from doing that, which is a little unfortunate. I do have a couple other options in the menu and in the app where you can have it unlock when you get close, which is pretty cool if it worked every time. Unfortunately, it doesn't, and when it does unlock, it relocks after a few seconds, so by the time I actually get to the door, it's usually locked. But on top of that, there we go. The fingerprint takes a while to hit. It's not the best fingerprint reader in the world, but it does work sometimes. And again, auto locks. The quality of the handle is super nice. I don't actually hate that it takes 4 AAA batteries. They're installed on the backside over a cap, because coming out to charge this thing would be really awkward. So batteries actually make more sense in this. But again, yeah, there we go. Worked the first time. And it's already locked. So in the end, it's a really cool idea. It's really neat. I wish there was an option in the settings to turn off the auto lock feature, because I don't need this door locked all the time. I don't want to have to use my fingerprint working 50% of the time when I'm walking back in and out of the shop. Speaking of which, behind this door, guys, this is the new garage/YouTube studio shop. So we're gonna have a lot more content coming out soon with this. But as far as this doorknob goes, quality-wise, I give it an 8 out of 10, but overall, we'll give it a 5 out of 10. It could be useful to some people. All right, last but not least, let's go ahead and hop into this safe, and then we'll get outside and, well, we'll see how good of a safe it is. All right, the inside of our safe does come with a set of manual keys right here. A little bit of hardware to mount it to the floor and or wall, whatever you choose. Of course, we have ourselves an owner's manual, but it's more of an owner's paper. Very simple, very right to the point. And then we have the actual safe itself. I mean, it doesn't feel too impressive, guys. I don't think this safe is gonna survive our torture test. All right, inside of the safe, for some reason, we have ourselves a little zipper bag. Honestly, it looks waterproof. Actually, it's surprisingly nice. Some kind of money/safety bag. You know what? This might actually be a type of fireproof bag. So we'll be testing this out too. Awesome. I know the inside's pretty simple. It seems pretty thin, but we'll run it. We'll see how she does. Main concerns right off the bat. I'm pretty sure the handle right here that you twist to actually open this is plastic. But again, what do we expect? Okay, after about 40 minutes of attempting, I cannot get this to power on, even with batteries in. I might have had a DOA unit, but you know what? That's not quite what I'm here to check out. There's no fancy fingerprint scanner. I just want to see if a cheap little safe like this is even worth it. First off, it does have the right kind of keying. Makes it a little bit harder to pick from what I understand. You guys can see those right there. But in the end, I don't think it's gonna survive. So let's not wait. Let's get out there. Let's check this thing out and see if it will keep our Pokemon cards and our stacks of cash safe. All right, guys, we are in our top secret testing area. It's definitely not my driveway. Okay, so what we have in front of you guys right now is the testing equipment. Now, let's get this out of the way. This safe is not designed for this. It's not designed to be fire resistant. It's not designed to stand up to any of this stuff, but I want to test it anyways. So let's throw in our valuables and see what she's got. All right, first up on the list, we have stacks of cash. The box of Pokemon cards from Cars to Go. Again, this was purchased on Temu. I don't know if they're real. I'm hoping you guys can let me know down below. We'll put those right in the middle. Close her up. All right, now we have one more stack of cash to put in the fireproof safety bag that came with it. Honestly, kind of a nice little thing to include if it works. All right, so first test we're gonna do is fire. What we have here is the old Temu torch, the one I've had for a while. This thing gets left outside by the burn pit, so she's pretty dirty, but it still works. And then on the left, we have the brand new one. That's right, I like them so much, I bought two. Okay, all right, we gotta turn this off. Oh boy, oh, that stinks so bad. Oh, that was on for maybe 30 seconds. Holy. All right, we'll give the bag a test real quick. Oh no, there's so much smoke coming from the inside. Okay, here's the fireproof bag. I guess we'll just kinda hit it and see if it survives. Flip her over, got to cook on both sides. Okay, fireproof bag is on fire. Given that was a lot of heat. Oh, it smells horrible. That just smells like burnt, nasty plastic. Card survived. Money seems okay. A little bit crispy on the edges. Pretty warm, pretty warm. Look at this side. This is super thin metal. All right, let's check out the bag real quick. Seems to have cooled down pretty quick. It dissipates heat pretty well. The inside is a little bit warm, but completely fine. No damage inside whatsoever. Nice. All right, now for the basic question. How safe is your money in the Temu safe? Actually, first off, guys, check this out. This is the Temu chainsaw that I never showed you guys. I didn't really have a video it would fit in, but I use this thing quite a bit. You can see the chain's pretty loose. Listen, I've used this a lot. Surprisingly impressive unit. I'm gonna put links down below because this thing's pretty awesome. Let's see if we can get in with a chainsaw. Because you never know when somebody's breaking into your house and has your Temu chainsaw lying around. So we'll just give her a shot. Okay, all right. Aside from dulling the crap out of my Temu chainsaw, it held up. But now, say you lose the keys. We gotta get inside somehow. All right, she's still pretty warm, but not too hot. Let's see if it still opens. Oh, okay. Well, listen, at this point, we could definitely get it open, but we'd have to use some tools, so now we gotta break it open. Like, I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is holding up better than I thought. Oh man. You know, this is actually holding up way better than I expected it to. All right. Guys, at this point, whatever's inside is probably destroyed except for cash. So that's probably about as far as this test is going. Now, one more quick note, back to the Pokemon cards. If you live in the US, you like these cards, you want them, put some comments down below. We're gonna be giving these away to a random comment. Only rules, you gotta be in the US because shipping outside is crazy expensive right now. Props to the Temu safe, honestly, it's better than I thought. That's it for this one. We'll catch you on the next one.